Hello friends and welcome. I'm Sarah Liz and I have a very special light up thank you card today. I have two figures and one is holding an umbrella for the other. It says thank you. You push the button and this light shines from behind the umbrella. On the inside it says, "For being my light in the storm." I've also created a little escape hatch for our battery. So this is a card that can be kept, and if the battery wears out, you can easily replace that and the card will continue to light up. So I have lots of things to show you today. I'm going to start with my supplies. This is the Dancin and the Rain die from Spellbinders. It's meant to be one of their Dancin dies, but we're not even going to make it dance. We're just going to light it up. Then we have the Thanks Enclosed Sentiments dies. They're these beautiful scripty sentiments that are nice and compact, very legible, and they all come with shadows. This is the Raindrops 3D embossing folder, also from Spellbinders. And then finally, we have our easy lights. This is a battery pack with a switch and 3 lights. It is so easy to use, and I will show you exactly how I did it. So I'm going to start by assembling my die cuts. I've cut our Dancin girl twice. And a lot of times when I'm doing something like this, I just pick like 1 or 2 colors of cardstock and I cut everything from all the colors. So I have the jacket and the boots in both pink and purple, and then I can get 2 figures out of this, or if I had extra pieces left over, I just tuck them into my packaging. Here I'm gluing the legs straight onto the jacket, but you could, if you wanted, turn that into a Dancin die. There's a little hole in the legs where you can make them swing back and forth under her rain jacket. Then here I have my word dies. I am a little nuts and I stacked up my white letters twice with white cardstock. And after I did it, I was like, nobody's going to do this. This is way too fiddly, except for maybe me. So stack them up if you want, but I don't actually think that it needs that. I love that the shadow is just ever so slightly bigger, but it does let me put these onto a somewhat busy background, and we will still be able to read them just fine. The large umbrella piece has little debossed lines to show you exactly where all the other pieces need to go, and I put little X's onto those sections. Ask me why. Ask me. This might be umbrella number 2. So it's every other one and they fit in there really nicely. I just maybe wasn't paying attention. I'm usually listening to a book while I'm putting my cards together and filming. So here it's easy enough just to add all of the little pieces on there. There's also a teeny tiny little piece that will go in the center. That is that little metal piece, right? That sticks up at the top of your umbrella. If that feels fiddly for you, just skip it. I don't know that most people would notice. So I'm kind of arranging my 2 figures, and then there's a puddle and then my umbrella on an A2 piece of white cardstock just to get the lay of the land. Make sure that everything's gonna fit. Then this is a sticky mat like you might use with a Cricut. And I'm gonna lay that into the bottom left-hand corner of my white cardstock. And then before I take it off of that cardstock, I'm gonna add a little bit of mint tape. It's like Post-it tape, just to mark where the puddle is, where the feet are. I'm going to ink blend on this panel and I need to know where my street should be. So I am going to pull my die cuts off. I'm just setting them aside and it's going to keep them in exactly the same spot. And I'm going to fold these over before we ink blend on our panel. I'm using 3 Distress Oxides here. I'm starting with our Wilted Violet. I just love this very pale, almost sort of periwinkle color of that one. And then Uncharted Mariner, which might be my favorite like ink color, period. If you have a favorite Distress or Distress Oxide, I want to know about it because I don't have them all. I am not really a full set syndrome kind of person, but I'm always curious what other people are collecting. I'm trying to blend the 2 together. If you don't do a lot of ink blending, the oxides are very creamy, almost like an oiled pastel. And so you can sort of move them around even after you lay them down, and then they will layer on top of each other. So if something gets too light or too dark, they're very easy to fix. I like using a domed foam blender for this because I can pick up a lot of ink at once and lay that down really easily. I'm going to use a baby wipe on the back of that just to get it a little bit wet, and then I'll run it through my embossing folder. I didn't do it on the front because of the ink. It is water reactive, but I'm going to take some Delicata white shimmer ink to the front and just very lightly tap it onto those raindrops. It's almost perfect. On the top right corner, there's a little ink on the colored areas of my background, but this worked better than using a brayer. That was actually my second panel. And the brayer got ink everywhere. Just the raindrops are spaced so far apart that it didn't work really well. Here I have a strip of gray cardstock that is as tall as what I measured off with my mint tape. And I'm going to ink blend just on either side. The light is really going to be coming from behind the umbrella, and so I want that lighter spot in the middle. So here's my easy light. I stick the battery in and I push the button. That's it. That's an easy light, okay? So I'm figuring out where I want this on my card, and I'm going to actually install it upside down so that from the inside of the card, you'll be able to easily get to that battery. And I'm just marking off in the corner like how tall it is and how wide. And I am going to cut from the bottom of the card up to the pencil mark, and then I'll take it to my scoreboard and score from the side of my card to the cut line that I made, right? We're just making like a little doggy door for the inside of our card. If you were making this and putting that battery pack somewhere else, there is a stamp and die bundle. We're going to use the stamp set pretty soon here. And it comes with a little, it looks like a rectangle die, but actually it creates like a flap. So you could do the same sort of thing, but not at a corner or an edge. So I added glue everywhere except for on our flap, and I am adding our ink blended, embossed, inked again background, and I'm going to lift that flap and just trim away the excess from our embossed panel. We're actually going to cover that up with a little street that we made, and so this is going to make things just a little smoother instead of trying to like score and fold two pieces of cardstock. Next, we can take this little piece here where we have picked up our little images, and I'm going to glue the images together so that we're really addressing a single piece when we go to add this back onto our card. I generally like to do that if I can manage it. It was easy enough to stick the tip of my glue bottle in some of those places, but when I tried to do that with the puddle, it just fell off. So we're just going to add that right back on, a little glue on the shoes, and then I can see through this sticky mat, so that makes it really easy to get everything lined up. I'm going to add glue only on the bottom. I was checking the height, and this is going to get laid down in the very corner, the bottom left corner of my strip of cardstock, because that's the bottom left corner of my card. When I picked it up from our piece of white cardstock, it was in the bottom left corner. And so now I know everything is lined up exactly where I want it to be. And that just simplifies my life. I know many people are like, Sarah, that was overly complicated. You could just eyeball it, but it makes me feel better, right? So here's the stamp set from the stamp and die bundle I was telling you about with the flap door that it makes. And there's a very scripty push that I love going with our scripty thank you. I'm going to pick that up with the door of my Misty. I brought in the light there just to make sure I had everything kind of lined up where I wanted it, right over that button. But especially when you add this upside down, and I'm going to remove the release paper here, I feel like you've got some wiggle room on where you put that press. So the back of my switch, my button and battery, has tape on it, and I'm going to lay this down right on top of it, right? So we picked it up, it's in that bottom left corner. Before I go any further, I just want to hold it all in place and make sure that there's enough room. I need more room than just for the battery pack. I got to get my thumb in there too. So I'm always checking for that as well. Then I can work on arranging my lights. I'm actually going to change my mind about the placement of this first one, and I'll show you how I do that. When you're looking at the light at the end of the wire, there is a little yellow piece. That's the light itself. And so I'm being really particular here. I wanted that light facing outward. And then I'm going to tape it down with just some Scotch tape. I'm bringing in my scissors to trim stuff off. I'm super careful when I do that, because if I cut a wire, then I'm going to lose a light. Okay. That said, if you were only using 2 lights instead of 3, you could trim off the wires for the light that you're not using. So I changed my mind on this one here. As I'm laying these down, I don't press very hard with that tape until I'm sure, like sure they're exactly where I want them. It's just regular Scotch tape. I use the gift wrap one, the invisible tape. I don't think it really matters. Just go kind of lightly. Don't like really press them on there until you've had a chance to double check everything. But here they are. They're evenly spaced around the umbrella. Then I'm going to start taping down the rest of the wires. I've got some funky space, so I'm going to tape the stuff at the bottom, and then I just kind of gently coil everything. It's going to look like a hot mess, but it doesn't really matter. No one's going to see it, and it's more important to me not to manhandle the wires. I don't want anything coming loose. I don't want to have to re-tape down all my lights. So that worked really well. I'm bringing in my card base and just making a mark around my battery pack where the flap is. So when I'm laying down my double-sided foam tape, I am leaving room for all of that, and I'm not going to accidentally glue the flap shut. This is the world's best foam tape from Pearblossom Press. It is amazing because it's repositionable for 30 minutes on the perfect height for your lights or your shakers. I have one piece of foam tape without backing paper, but that's okay. I'm just double checking things. So I'm going to lay this down where it goes, pressing the button, everything lights up, open it up, make sure that the flap is working the way that it's supposed to. Everything's lined up. I once put one of these on backwards, you know, things happen. But then I can peel this back off to remove the rest of that backing paper, and it's not a problem because I'm within that sort of 30-minute window that you get to reposition everything. It brings my stress down when I'm making interactive cards like you wouldn't believe. And I love interactive cards, but I know I don't have to get it right the first time. I can always move things around later. I'm going to bring in some removable adhesive, and I like to put it on the flap where it's going to touch the top of that battery pack. It's just enough to keep it closed, but it's not going to cause problems. Like I'm not going to have to really pry it open if I need to change something. Then I'm going to glue down my thank you. I want it totally on top of the umbrella since I have a light shining out on the side right there. One of the things I like about this design is that raindrop background is just the thickness of a normal card. The height is only on the street and then where our umbrella and our girls are, and I like sort of being able to hide the battery in that way. I wanted to add a really custom sentiment to the inside of my card, and so I release free printable sentiments a couple times a month on my channel. I'll link to the video that has this download attached to it. And it has a bunch of sub-sentiments for some Spellbinders club kits that came out in August. And then if you downloaded it right away, it didn't have this one yet. So if you're like, Sarah, I know all about your kits, but I don't think I have this one, you might not. You might want to re-download it. I made this card about a week after the kit came out, and this just felt like it fit in there. So it says, for being my light in the storm. And I just trimmed that out. There are tick marks on the printable to show you how to cut it to make sure that it's straight. And then I go around the edges with a black Sharpie or an alcohol marker or something like that, just so it looks like black cardstock with white text instead of white cardstock with a printed background. I'm going to go ahead and just glue this right to the inside of my card. I'm lining it up clear on the right-hand side. This was sort of a new place to put a sentiment for me, but I really liked it there. So here's our card. We press the button and a light shines from the background like the friend is the light. Thank you for being my light in the storm. And I just love this one. I have some really, really great people in my life who take care of me. I've got some big things coming up that I know I'm asking for help with. So I'm sure this is not going to be in my possession for very long. So I hope this inspires you. I hope you'll give this a try. If you are new here, please hit that subscribe button and go ahead and give this a thumbs up so you don't miss out on more inspiration. I'll see you next time.